How you doing? So today we're going to talk about the essence-energy distinction and how God works. How does God interact with the universe? And this is going to be from the perspective of Christianity, particularly the Orthodox Christian faith. This is actually Saint Gregory of Palamas was, in some of his books and writings, was actually the one that basically nailed this down. So this is basically kind of who this comes from and where this comes from. There's other writers, Saint Maximus the Confessor, that talks about these things as well. But that's what this is basically considered as the essence-energy distinction. So it's not pantheism. Pantheism would be God is in everything in the universe. All the reality that we see is God. The world is God. That would be pantheism. But panentheism, that would be what we are talking about here, where God is transcendent, but also he is immanent at the same time. But how does that actually work? Because that kind of doesn't necessarily make sense. Because it would seem that God, how can he be in two places at the same time? Because whatever place he would be in, that would be divine, right? But this is basically nailing it down a little more and explaining what that actually means. Because I didn't necessarily understand this myself, and I would have questions about this, and this definitely helped me to really see what this means. So you basically have three types of unity in this essence-energy distinction. There's three types of unity between God and the Trinity and the universe. You have a unity according to the essence of God. And that essence of God is just talking about God's completeness, the only thing that God actually is. And that's something that we can never be a part of. I know some New Age things and maybe some Gnostic ideas would teach more that, as you're evolving, you can become more like God. And that would be more of like an apotheosis. But that's not what the Orthodoxy would teach. There's no way that the universe, that human beings can have a direct connection to God's actual essence and his divinity and what he actually really is. So, that's only the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And then the number two, there's a union according to the hypostasis, which essentially means that the Father is a person, the Son is a person, the Holy Spirit, they're all separate persons. And the Son is the Logos, and that, the way he fits into that hypostasis, is through the incarnation. And then number three is the unity according to the energies, which is how we, the universe, the world, and how humanity connects with God. It's through God's energies. It's not God's complete essence, but it's God's essence energies. And that's how we connect with God. And that's actually how the teaching of Orthodoxy would be a theosis, not an apotheosis, like some of the New Age and things like that would teach, that you can directly connect with God's essence and become God. But Orthodoxy teaches theosis, which you become like God through God's essence energies. So you can never be God, but you can basically grow and grow and grow to be more and more and more like God. And that's how we become a part. That's how we are a part of the Trinity. It's through God's energies. And that comes by grace, which a lot of those things you can read in the Bible, and I'm sure people have read those things, grace through faith and all of that. But a clearer definition of how that grace is working, it's through God's energies. So, And like this says here, the unity between the earth and God cannot be the sort of union that God experiences in the Trinity. So that's basically how it works in the explanation. It's the triad that really explains all the knowledge of the multiplicity in the world. That's how we come to know God, through this multiplicity, is through the triad. And just a couple quotes here to close it up. This one kind of explains Gregory Palamas's ideas here a little bit more from this book, God, Immanent Yet Transcendent. It says, 3 realities pertain to God: essence, energy, and the triad of the divine hypostasis. As we have seen, those privileged to be united to God so as to become one spirit with him, as St. Paul has said, he who cleaves to the Lord is one spirit with him, 1 Corinthians 6:17, are not united to God with respect to his essence, since all the theologians testify that with respect to his essence, God undergoes no participation. Moreover, the hypostatic union is fulfilled only in the case of the Logos, the God-man. Thus, those privileged to attain union with God are united to him with respect to his energies. And one more quote here to close it up from Michael S. Horton. God's energies are radiations of divine glory, but are no more the divine essence than rays are the sun itself. God's uncreated glory emanates, but the essence does not. The energies are God in action. They are not God's essence, but a certain quality of God's self-revelation and saving love. So there you go. That hopefully that explains a little more how this God's movement into rest and into action in the world, and how us created beings interact with God. Hopefully that's a little more clear for you. Thanks for watching. God bless you.